And welcome to another Tyler and Eli Fantasy Football Tips podcast. I am your host, Tyler Boloski. Let me introduce to you tonight, he is not the GOAT in the pool. He is not the GOAT on the track. That's Michael Phelps and Usain Bolt. But he is the GOAT in the 8 to 9-year-old fantasy football podcasters. That GOAT is Eli Boloski.
Hey guys, tonight we're going to do a mock draft and we're going to give you 5 tips each on how to draft and maybe a little more. Maybe not. But you guys are looking for another podcast? Okay, we'll give you a podcast. Right here, right now, this is our podcast, the Tyler and Eli Fantasy Football Tips Podcast.
That was awesome, Eli. That's great. You're pumping up the crowd, you're pumping up those listeners. Awesome. And good news, we're going to be doing 2 podcasts this week, next week, and the following week, up until the season starts, to get you guys ready for your fantasy drafts. And so we'll probably do Wednesday, Thursdays, and then probably Saturday, Sundays. So be listening, waiting for them.
Yeah. So
this will be the first one this week, and the next one coming in Saturday. We got some news on that later on throughout the podcast.
Yeah.
So as Eli said, we're going to be doing a mock draft tonight, and we're going to give you about 10 to 15 tips at the end. But listen, during the podcast, though, or during the draft, we're going to be doing, we're also going to be giving you some more tips inside of that, too. So just be ready for that. Listen to those really well, and you guys are going to do great with your drafts this year.
I guess we are going to do more than 5 tips each.
That's right. So here we go. Let's get right into our 9s. That's news, injuries, notes, entertainment. We got some quick bullet points. First one is Steve Smith Sr. is back on the playing field. Victor Cruz is back on the playing field, both of them coming off injuries. So keep an eye on them. Not really draft worthy, I don't think. Maybe Steve Smith with late rounds.
Maybe Victor Cruz. I'm not taking Steve Smith. You guys can take him.
Yeah.
But actually, my advice is don't take him.
Yeah, if you want to take him at the very end, that way you can drop him at the end of the beginning of the season.
Like a trade bait.
Trade bait, yeah, because he blew it up last year, but he's getting older, coming off the ACL. Victor Cruz, who knows what's going to happen? He says he's ready to play. They have 21 days until the season starts. This is the second week. I know, the second week of preseasons, and Victor Cruz says he's ready to go.
Maybe he is, maybe he isn't.
Yeah, John Brown's still suffering from concussion symptoms. That really scares me because I like John Brown.
Yeah.
Not as a 2, but as a flex bench. So if he
doesn't that's gonna really hurt the Cardinals.
Yeah, if he's not playing next week in Game 3, I would kind of stay clear of John Brown. Colin Kaepernick, they're reporting that he has a dead arm, but I guess it's starting to slowly get better. He's not really throwing the ball a whole lot.
What is a dead arm, Tyler?
A dead arm is is just tired. He's just really tired. I don't know why he didn't play it all last year, but
yeah.
The next thing is wide receiver Brandon LaFell from Cincinnati tore some ligaments in his hand. He's the number 2 receiver in Cincinnati. They don't think he'll be ready until week 1. I wouldn't even worry about drafting him. Just throwing it out there for you.
Yeah, don't draft
Gronk went down earlier this week with nothing major. They're just writing off is that he just came off limping, but nothing major. But just keep an eye on Gronk. He is injury prone, so be careful of that.
He is.
Yeah, wide receiver from Baltimore, Brashad Perriman is still out with the MCL tear that he suffered earlier this week. Earlier this preseason. So he's not really getting drafted, but that
definitely not. Even if he didn't have the injury, I'm still not drafting.
Yeah, that's a name that people are kind of working on, but if he's injured, stay away from him.
Yeah.
A big trade. I don't know how big it is, but it's a trade. Darrell Green Beckham was traded from the Tennessee Titans to the Philadelphia Eagles, which is good for him because he's...
Who did he get traded by?
The Titans. The Titans traded him for a backup offensive lineman. But the thing with that is that he downgraded with a quarterback, though. He goes from Marcus Mariota to Sam Bradford, but he'll be on the field a lot more. If he can keep his head straight, because he is a nutcase there. But that's someone you may want to keep an eye out there in Philly, because their wide receiver cores are just bleh.
Yeah.
Good news for Jordy Nelson fans. He is back on the practice field, ready to go. He won't play this week, but he'll be definitely ready to go week 3 in the preseason. So draft him early, draft him often.
Yeah, and I bet you're happy, Greg.
Yeah, Papa Greg, yep. And same with Matt Forte. He's back on the practice field, ready to go.
Yeah.
They don't think he's going to do a whole lot next week in the third preseason because he's still coming off a hamstring.
And he's not. They're probably not going to start him. Just keep him.
Yeah, he'll get
Keep him safe.
he'll get 5-6 touches and that's it, just to keep him. He's 30 years old, so he doesn't really need preseason games.
Not really.
So
he's been good all of those years.
Exactly. So that does it for our 9s. I know it's fast, but there's a lot of them. But that's why we also are going to be doing 2 podcasts a week to stay up with all the information for you guys.
Yeah, because there's a lot going on now that there's preseason.
Exactly. We don't want to just be reporting stuff that happens on Monday and it's already Sunday and you already knew the news. So let's get right into our mock draft. We are doing a 10-team PPR. We are drafting in the 7th position because we have our own personal draft coming up Saturday. So Eli's drafting 7. I'm drafting 3rd, but we'll just do 7 tonight. And we're using draftwizard.fantasypros.com. It's an awesome website.
It really is.
Quick, easy. You can do a draft in 5 to 10 minutes. And it's really recommended. All the insiders, the pros, expert podcasters, that's what they use. So we're using it because we are pro experts.
Yeah.
So tonight we are going to have a mindset of doing we're going to try to draft 3 wide receivers first, see how that goes. But with that though, if we get to the 3rd pick and there's a high stud running back, we're going to take him. But instead of that, we're going to do 3 wide receivers first and then see how that goes. So that's the first tip. Go into your draft with a very loose strategy. You want to do running back, receiver, flip-flop, however you want to do it. But don't be scared when your player gets picked or your position gets picked because you're just going to ruin your whole draft after the first round.
You want to have a plan. You don't want to go into the draft saying, I'll just take the best guy available.
Yeah. Have a plan, but be flexible with it. Yeah. So the first pick was Brown, Beckham, Gurley, Julio, AJ Green, David Johnson. So we're up at the number 7 pick. And our options right now, the best ones are going to be Jordy Nelson, Allen Robinson, Dez Bryant, or DeAndre Hopkins. Eli, this is for your team. This is your draft. So who are you going to take here?
I would totally take DeAndre Hopkins.
All right, so we're going to take DeAndre Hopkins at 7. That's a good pick. The one thing that does kind of scare me a little bit with Hopkins is that Brock Osweiler isn't the strongest quarterback, but he's a lot better than what they had last year.
Yes.
So we're swinging back through a round for the 2nd pick in our 2nd round. Off the board was AP, Allen Robinson, Gronk, Double E, Zeke Elliott, Dez, and Lamar Miller. In our 2nd pick, Eli, we got Nelson, Mike Evans, Brandon Marshall, Alshon Jeffrey. I would stay away from Jeffrey. He's not going to stay healthy at all.
And Marshall, too.
He's old, and I do not like Marshall. So Mike Evans or Jordy Nelson, Eli?
I really like Mike Evans here. I think this is a steal because I have him as a solid number 1. He'll do the job for your number 1. And I really like Mike Evans here.
You can take Mike Evans over Jordy Nelson?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. We're going to do it. I wouldn't have done that, but it's your team, so let's see what happens. So Nelson did go 2 picks later, but that's fine. And so now we're going to do our 3rd wide receiver here in the 3rd round. But before that, let's just check out the running backs, see who we have left. We do have the swing pick. They have C.J. Anderson, Carlos Hyde, Thomas Rolls, and Latavius Murray. So do you want to try to steal one more receiver or get kind of a running back?
I think there are better running backs out there.
All right, so you want to go with a wide receiver, Brandon Cooks, Amari Cooper, T.Y. Hilton, or the injured Sammy Watkins?
I really like Amari Cooper here. Because of his quarterback, and T.Y. Hilton's quarterback is going to get injured. Andrew Luck is going to get injured.
Okay.
Brandon Cooks, he's got a lot of guys to back him up, so they're going to be throwing to other guys.
Sure.
And Sammy Watkins, he has a terrible quarterback, and he's injured, so I really like Cooper here.
Yeah, I wish I could override you, but this is your draft, so because I would take Brandon Cooks because of Drew Brees. I like him over Derek Carr, but it's yours.
I do too, but Cooper is pretty much the only guy.
You do make a good point. Cook has 6 other targets. Cooper only has 3, so that's not a bad choice. But we did mention Sammy Watkins, which means we do have to mention GJP, our sponsor. Which, guys, if you haven't been to GJP and Oswego over in the JCPenney Plaza. Get there fast. It's the best pizza and wings in town. And let me tell you something. We have a special cool surprise for you guys. We're still going to continue to hang on to that to the very end. But Larry and the crew over there, they make any type of pizza. I saw someone walking out with chicken bacon ranch with a little barbecue sauce splashed on top of it. They make any type of pizza you want. The best wings. Mix and match all your flavors. Call them up at 315-207-1000. See them on Facebook at GJPS Swigo. And you can email them and check out their website at gjpsswigo.gmail.com. And they do the Grubhub, so you can find them there. You get all the discounts. Yeah. It's a great value over there, guys. Best pizza in town. Mm-hmm. So let's go with Amari Cooper for our third pick. Mm-hmm. So now some of the guys who left: Eddie Lacy, Doug Martin, C.J. Anderson. So now we need T.Y. Hilton, Aaron Rodgers. So let's go with. So we have 3 receivers: Hopkins, Mike Evans, Amari Cooper. So I think it's now a good time to get a running back.
Yeah, definitely.
We have Thomas Rawls, Latavius Murray, Matt Forte, and Jeremy Hill. I think I know who you're going to take, but who do you want here?
Matt Forte. I mean, he's clearly the best guy here. Cause those Latavius Murray and Jeremy Hill, I could draft for my number 2 if I had to. Thomas Rawls, I'm staying away from him.
Yeah, he is still coming out. He is still coming off the injury. There's a lot of talk coming out of Seattle that
Matt Forte,
that he isn't quite healthy quite yet. So they may be splitting some time up there in Seattle. Latavius Murray, I like him. He's going to get a lot of touches this year. And Jeremy Hill splitting time with Gianni Bernard. So Matt Forte?
Yeah.
All right, he's going to catch a lot of balls out of the backfield this year.
Yeah.
Especially now that Ryan Fitzpatrick is throwing him the ball. So now we're waiting some, and Deion Lewis, Randall Cobb, Jordan Reed, Calvin Benjamin, some of the big names. I think it's time we probably should get another running back: Jeremy Hill, Jonathan Stewart, DeMarco Murray, or Ryan Matthews. Who do you like here?
Jonathan Stewart. He blew it up last year for us. He's gonna put up a lot of numbers this year. DeMarco Murray, he's gonna get injured. Matthews just stinks.
Yeah, he's not.
And Hill's splitting time.
Yeah, I would. Once again, if I would override you, I would take DeMarco Murray. But it's your team. I like Murray and Stewart. I just like Murray better. Now that they got rid of Green Beckham, that means to me they're going to start running the ball a lot more because they have taken away that passing game. But Jonathan Stewart's a good pick. He is the only solid running back in Carolina. So let's go with him. And Matt Jones, Eric Decker, Kobe Fleener, tight end. All right, so now you have Forte, Stewart, Hopkins, Mike Evans, Amari Cooper. Now, a lot of people here would continue to stock up their bench with running backs, wide receivers. What I like to do, and Eli's starting to get on this train, is to get your quarterback. What we like to do is fill
up our starting lineup first, except for the defense and kicker.
Exactly.
Because we want the best players. We don't want DeMarco Murray as our number 1.
Exactly. Get the max amount of points as fast as you can. That's my theory. All the experts have their theory. The Matthew Staffords, what's his name? Field Yates. They say wait for quarterbacks. But here's the thing. Drew Brees is up on the board. Ben Roethlisberger, Palmer, and Eli are going to get you way more points than your backup running back because, 1, you're not playing him. 2, he's a backup. So, for my opinion, a tip here, we are a tip podcast. Get your quarterback, get your tight end, and fill up all those guys right now. So I'm going to say Drew Brees.
No, Ben Roethlisberger. Right?
Even though Ladarius Green's probably not going to play, and
he still has the best receiver probably in the world.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
And he has Marcus Wheaton. He has Sammy Coates.
All right, so Big Ben over Drew Brees.
Drew Brees is gonna. Saints are gonna get a little mixed up this year, I bet, because with all their wide receivers.
Yeah, but he's gonna throw almost 5,000 yards. Drew Brees, I'm gonna try to talk you into this. Drew Brees has been the most consistent quarterback, real life quarterback, in the last 10 years than any other quarterback out there.
So has Eli Manning. He hasn't missed a game since his rookie year.
Not so much for being injured, but Brees is consistently 4,500 yards and 30 touchdowns. Big Ben has only done that twice his whole career. I'm going to put a candy bar bet on this right now if you want to. Drew Brees has more fantasy points than Big Ben. You want a candy bar bet it?
Yeah.
All right, candy bar bet. So did I convince you to draft Drew Brees?
No.
All right. Well, you're gonna get Big Ben. I'm gonna take Drew Brees, and I'm going to win the league. So now to fill out that roster spot, we gotta get our tight end.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like it's going to be a swing around. Jeremy Hill, Ryan Matthews, Delaney Walker, which is good now because Marcus Mariota has a new target. Julius Thomas, Gary Barnidge left. Tyler Eifert left. So tight ends. Okay, so we have Zach Ertz, Antonio Gates, Dwayne Allen, or Martellus Bennett, which I want to draft because he's number 2. Now
But Gronk will get injured.
He will get injured, but I'm not going to put him as my starter. I wouldn't want to start him.
No.
Now here's another tip. Nine tight ends have gone off the board, and we were in a 10-team league. So do the math. 9 tight ends, 10 teams. We haven't done a tight end yet. So I'm going to flip that thing we just talked about by filling up your starters.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, no one else is going to draft a tight end.
Unless they want to back up.
Unless they want to back up, but then they're going to waste points on the draft board. So at this point, we're going to skip our tight end.
Yeah.
And we're going to go to either a wide receiver or a running back because they're going to get us more points than our tight end that we don't need to draft yet. So the running backs, Frank Gore, Gio Bernard, Duke Johnson, Jeremy Langford.
And then the wide receivers are Golden Tate, Doug Baldwin, Dante Moncrief,
and John Brown. Mm-hmm. So which 4 of those guys, 8 of those guys are enticing to you? I'd say either Golden Tate, Doug Baldwin for the receivers, and probably either
Bernard and Langford.
You like Langford? I would say
over Gore and Johnson.
I'd go Gore Johnson, but it's your team, so who are you taking?
Right here, I think I'd take Doug Baldwin.
Doug Baldwin, okay, that's not a well. Look at you got okay. That's fine. You only have 2 running backs, so you have 3 wide receivers, but you do have the flip coming over.
Yeah, so and I bet I could get
Sure. One of those running backs are going to still be there for sure. Yeah, because all wide receivers and quarterbacks.
And
so we got Gio, Duke, Arian Foster, and Amir Abdullah. So I would either go Gio or Duke.
Gio right here.
Gio Bernard. All right. So once again, we're not filling up the tight end spot because only 9 have been drafted. We don't need to draft one yet.
Nope.
So that's a tip right there. Watch your draft board. If everyone's taking quarterbacks, you can wait on a quarterback. Don't get on that quarterback train. Steal a wide receiver. Steal a running back, which we're doing right now. So we took Gio Bernard. So I think we should keep going wide receiver, running back now because no tight ends are going off the board yet. We still got Zach Ertz. Yep, nothing's moving. So wide receivers are Devontae Parker, Deshaun Jackson, Tyler Lockett, and Michael Crabtree. And then running backs, Rashid Jennings, Danny Woodhead, Justin Forsett, and Charles Sims. Now let me take a...
I think we can wait for Charles Sims.
We can wait for Charles Sims, but here's my concern. Here's a tip for you, Eli. We have 4 pretty decent wide receivers here, right? And we're coming up on the flip. And we talked about this earlier in the show prep. 4 wide receivers and about 6 picks in between. So 4 of those guys are probably going to still. 3 of those guys are probably still going to be here. Starting running backs, Rashid Jennings, Forsett, probably won't be there. So do you want to get another starting stud running back, or take a flyer on one of the number 2 wide receivers? I would personally say a running back because you can come back and wide receivers are so deep this year that you may want to wait on wide receiver and get that extra little running back because you have Forte who could get hurt. Stewart may not get a whole lot of touches if they're going to air it out.
Yeah.
And who knows what Gio Bernard's going to do because of splitting carries. So I would say get another starting running back to fill up that running back spot.
Here's what I'm gonna. This is my whatever.
Tip.
Here's
your tip.
Rashad Jennings right here. I don't like. He's way too old. Danny Woodhead. I guess he's a little bit good. I'm not gonna take him as my second running back on the bench.
He's number 2 right. You have Melvin Gordon. Yeah.
And Justin Forsett, the Baltimore. is going to be just a mess this year.
Yeah, I'm staying away from everyone in Baltimore other than Joe Flacco, maybe, if I get Tom Brady. Because Flacco, their first 4 games are lights out. He could crush it those first 4 games. So other than Flacco, but if he has no receivers to throw to, he's useless.
And he plays the Steelers twice.
Yes.
But Charles Sims, I think it's too early right here.
It is too early for Charles Sims.
I'm going to go a receiver right here.
So you're going to go against... Okay, that's fine.
And here's another tip. For your bench, I like going wide receiver, running back, wide receiver, running back.
Yep.
And I bet I could get Charles Sims on the flip.
Okay. So who are you going to take? Parker, Jackson, Lockett, or Crabtree?
Right here, I like Crabtree. Just in case, Cooper starts falling and Crabtree starts getting high.
Okay. Oh, so you're gonna take Cooper's flex or Cooper's handcuff then?
I guess, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, we can try that.
Let's see if we get Charles Sims.
So Danny Woodhead, Justin Forsett, and Rashid Jennings went. So we got Charles Sims, Derrick Henry, LeGarrette Blount, and Tevin Coleman. So you want Charles Sims?
Yep, Charles Sims right here.
It's not a bad pick. Even though Derrick Henry, a lot of people saying Derrick Henry is going to start the rest of this. You're going to start by the end of the season over Murray. So Charles Sims, it is.
Yeah.
Now we got 3 picks left before kicker defense, and so let's just look at tight ends one more time. Make sure no one moves.
Zach Ertz and Latavius Green.
So people are starting to pick up their backup tight ends. So I would go. You got Antonio Gates, Dwayne Allen, Martellus Bennett, and Eric Ebron. Ebron's still coming off the ankle injury.
Yeah.
Bennett's number 2. Dwayne Allen. He's really only going to be getting touchdowns for the most part because they're going to go with a lot of 3 wide receivers.
Yeah.
The best bet here, I think, if you don't want to go someplace else, is Antonio Gates. And here's why. He needs 8 more touchdowns to get a record, the most tight end touchdowns. Phillip Rivers is going to feed him the ball all year to get him those 8 touchdowns.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Antonio Gates, he gets injured.
He does.
His quarterback stinks.
Yep. Well, he doesn't stink, but keep going.
He's pretty bad. And Antonio Gates is going to get injured, and I don't like to draft a backup tight end.
Okay. So this is what we could do. You could wait another round because you still have Jason Witten and Zach Miller at tight ends, and I don't think they're going to go yet. So you just want to skip the tight end for now?
Yep.
All right, so let's go to wide receiver probably.
Yeah.
Because you just took Charles Sims. We got Kevin White, Sterling Shepard, Torrey Smith, and Corey Coleman. I love all these guys.
Definitely.
Torrey Smith, though,
not Torrey Smith.
I'm starting to get off his train a little bit because Blaine Gabbert in San Francisco doesn't have the strongest arm, so he can't throw deep.
And Colin Cappy has a dead arm.
Yeah, so I'm slowly getting off Torrey Smith. But Kevin White, Sterling Shepard, or Corey Coleman, I would take all of them. I think I know who you're gonna take. Who you're gonna take, Eli?
Sterling Shepard.
Oh, I thought you were gonna go Kevin White.
Kevin White, he'll step up this year, but Shepard has a better quarterback.
Yeah, that is true. He does. Yeah,
he has a lot better. And
all right, so now you have an option here. Do you want to take another running back, Theo Redrick, Kenneth Dixon, C.J. Price, or Devontae Washington? Do you want to go with a backup quarterback?
I always go with a backup quarterback.
I do too. I always draft a backup quarterback.
Right here we have Tyrod Taylor, Derek Carr, which I'm going to pick, and Tony Romo and Kirk Cousins. Tyler, you would pick...
I would pick Jameson Winston or Kirk Cousins. I like Winston this year. I think he's going to do great. I would do either one. All depends who's left on the board, and it depends on my rankings.
I totally agree with... definitely not Kirk Cousins, but Jameis Winston. He's gonna put up a lot of numbers this year.
Exactly. So, but you're gonna go with Derek Carr for your backup?
Well, let's look at tight ends because I saw one tight end go off the board.
Oh yeah, Gates went off the board. So tight ends, you got Dwayne Allen,
Jason Witten.
Oh, you're gonna go with Zach Miller, right? Probably.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get your backup tight quarterback now with Derek Carr.
Because Tony Romo's gonna be injured. Taylor doesn't have very good receivers.
Well, here's the thing. Let's look at this. Here's another tip, and we'll save that tip for later. let's try to go, and that's why we're mocking. Mock drafts are a great time to experiment with things. Let's try to draft. Let's draft for defense now. You're 3 rounds out. You got Panthers, Texans, Vikings, and Kansas City. And here's the thing: no one else is going to go off the board. Let's see, tight ends you have: Dwayne Allen, he'll be good. Zach Miller, he'll be great. Eric Ebron, he'll be okay. You have the number 2 or 3 defense in Carolina, Houston, and Kansas City. I would take one of those guys.
Yeah.
So we want what defense?
Right here, I'd pick the Houston Texans right here.
Houston Texans.
Because even if Watt is injured, I'm still gonna. That's only for 1 to 2 games, if that.
Yep.
And so I really like them here.
All right, so let's just keep going with that kick. Let's try kicker. We got Jankowski.
Yeah.
Or you want to do? I mean, either way, you're going to get a kicker or your tight end here, and your tight end's still there. Zach Miller's still there. So
yeah, why not? Why not? Let's just mock.
We're mocking. Going with the kicker.
Yep, Stefan Gostkowski.
So the very last pick you have, you're going to get your tight end. Now I've never done that before. It's something new we're trying. That's why we mock draft.
Yeah.
And excuse me. Well. So, Zach Miller is your tight end. Not a bad starter. That's a great starting running back, tight end right there. All the positions. Zach Miller, you are just been drafted, I think.
Yep, right there. Right there.
Oh, yep. Right there he is.
99% you should choose him. That's what...
All right, so here comes our draft grade. Oh, you got a D. But here's the thing.
Don't worry about
your draft grades or your positions on Yahoo or wherever your draft sites. They don't mean they mean a little bit, but
not much.
Not much, because if you listen to this team, and we'll write this down, and we will put it on our blog at Tyler and Eli Fantasy Football Tips.blogspot.com. We'll give you his starting lineup here. But Big Ben, Matt Forte, Jonathan Stewart, DeAndre Hopkins, Mike Evans, Zach Miller, Amari Cooper in the flex, Houston, Jankowski, Doug Baldwin on the bench, Gio Bernard, Crabtree, Charles Sims, Sterling Shepard, and Derek Carr. Bench is a little weak, I think.
Weak.
You're going to get a ton of catches from Evans and a whole bunch of catches from Evans and Hopkins and Cooper. Those 3 but that's the thing.
And then you're going to get a ton of catches from Forte now that Fitzpatrick came back.
Exactly. And that's that. We went with a strategy. 3 wide receivers first. You got 3 stud wide receivers.
2 stud running backs.
Yeah, they're a little weaker, but
Jonathan Stewart is a little weak.
Yeah, I think
Matt Forte is strong there.
Yeah, so that's one thing you gotta recognize. You're mocking. You do a mock draft. It's practice. But going into the draft, should we have taken Amari Cooper in the real draft? Maybe not. We could have probably gotten a better running back. But
there was. I think we could have waited on a running back.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah, and that's why you got to feel your board out. Now we waited for the very last pick to get our tight end.
But we got stud defense, a stud kicker.
Yep. We'll make up some of those points from Zach Miller. I personally, like I said, I would have went with probably Gates since Fleener went off the board earlier, and I would have went with Drew Brees instead of Big Ben. But seriously, I mean, they're going to be. It's a great team. If that doesn't make the playoffs, then I don't know what would.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Draft Wizard's opinion would say if it made the playoffs or not.
It would. They would give you.
Because at the end, it says your team. It says your draft grade is whatever, and it says whatever out of 100, and then it says draft again or projected standings. Projected standings is like the final draft board. The projected standings, like if you would make the playoffs.
Would your starting make the playoffs? Would your bench make the playoffs? Yep, and they average it all together, and would you make the playoffs? That's the mock draft. We're all done. Hopefully you guys followed along with it. We went a little faster than our very first mock draft, but because we want to wait to our tips. And then next week we're going to be doing another mock draft for another league that we're in. Well, I think that we're in. Hint, hint. But let's get into our drafting tips. And for me, drafting tips are for when you're doing a live in-person draft. You guys sitting around the table.
Those live drafts are the best drafts.
Yeah, because you're all.
I don't know if any of you have ever been live draft. Maybe some of you have. Maybe some of you haven't. But live drafts are the best.
Yeah, you're sitting with your buddies. You got some food going. You got chit chat. There's no time on there's no clock for your picks like online. But sometimes you're all over the world and you can't do that. But these tips are for those who are in the same room together. I have one. Make sure you show up to the draft. Don't be the guy last minute. Oh, I got something else to do. Show up to your draft. Auto picks are the worst.
You get the worst teams.
You get the worst teams, and if you're not there, your buddies are going to say, you know what, he's going to draft for defense first. So be at your draft. Get there early. Another one is
bring some food too.
Yeah, we'll get back to that one. That's my very last one.
Oh.
Don't outthink the room, guys. Seriously. The worst thing you can do is draft your quarterback in the first round. That's I'm going to get Cam Newton. Well, you can get Cam Newton, and the rest of your draft is going to go. So don't outthink the room. Don't think that just because you listen to our podcast that our tips are correct. One, they are. But don't think that, these guys know what they're talking about. They don't. I'm going to go against what they're saying. Trust me. We're doing the research. We're crunching the numbers. Don't outthink the room and think that you can just go off and just draft 14 running backs and only 2 tight ends. Well, that's not going to help you. For example, we had a guest on, Bill King. He drafted 3 tight ends. Didn't make the playoffs that year. He outthought the room.
he makes the playoffs a lot.
Yeah,
right?
he does. Yeah, what's one of your draft tips?
If you're gonna draft your defense and kicker last.
Yeah, in the last 2 rounds.
And draft your defense first before your kicker.
Exactly.
In the second to last round.
Now with this mock draft though, we went against that because we knew no one else was taking a tight end.
And we were just mocking.
We're mocking, and
we got a stud defense instead of like the Chiefs, or the Patriots.
Yeah.
Which were still on the board at the end.
So what we're saying is save your last 2 picks for the defense, then the kicker. Because 9 times out of 10, you're not going to finish with the same kicker and defense at the end of the year anyways. Unless it's Jankowski and maybe the Seattle defense. Other than that, most likely going to be rotating throughout the whole year playing matchups. If you're not doing that, then you're probably not going to even make the playoffs because you got to watch your matchups. Yeah. So another one is know your league rules and settings. Are you a PPR league? Are you a half PPR? Are you doing 3 wide receivers in a flex, 2 quarterbacks? Whatever when's the trade deadline and what's the waiver wire rules? Know your league settings. Dig deep because you may be able to find something that no one else is looking for, and you'll be able to win your draft.
Like DeAngelo Williams, if he's sitting on the board in the 10th round, and I need a stud running back, I'm taking him.
You are taking them. All right, so know your league rules. Eli, you got one more tip?
If you have an injured player, like let's say if you got, if you did get Antonio Gates, then you would probably have to draft a backup. I'm not drafting Antonio Gates because I don't want to draft a backup tight end. So if you draft a guy that's going to be injured during the season, then you're gonna want to get a handcuff. And my next draft tip is stay away from players on Philadelphia, Cleveland, Baltimore, and Miami.
Oh, Cleveland, no way. Here's the thing with Cleveland, and we'll talk about more coming up. Cleveland is awesome on paper, and let me tell you, I would take Corey Coleman and Gary Barnidge.
And you can lose the league.
But no, in all seriousness, stay away from who? Cleveland, Baltimore, Philly, and Minnesota. Miami, and I would even put Minnesota in there, even other than AP. I mean,
definitely.
Yeah.
But they're all going to be a mess this year.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to get in there and be sneaky and try to outthink the room, sure. Pick up Jordan Matthews and Stephon Diggs and watch you just sit him on the bench. I have another one is I kind of mentioned this earlier in the draft. Don't panic if you're eyeing 2 or 3 guys and they get picked up and then you just go especially when you're on the clock, say on Yahoo, and your clock's running out on you. Be prepared. Have 4 or 5 guys lined up ready to go, 6 or 7. You know when your pick's coming up. You're 3 picks away. Have 5 guys ready because 3 of those guys are going to be picked.
Yeah.
Be ready. Don't panic. Also, have a loose strategy.
You mentioned that
at the very beginning. Have a very loose strategy. You take and throw your wide receivers. You can go running back, like you did in 2007. Wide receiver, running back, something. Have a loose strategy. I have two joking ones a little bit.
But my fourth one
Oh yeah.
is don't be scared of. I have 4 players you don't want to be scared of. Draft them on the bench. Willie Snead, Sterling Shepard,
Marcus Wheaton,
and Sammy Coates. Don't be scared of them, guys. Stock them on the bench, and you can fill them up when someone has a bye week.
Those are great wide receivers to pick up. That's a good tip right there. Get those PPR points.
Don't be scared of them, guys. If you want to reach for them, definitely don't start them unless you. Definitely don't start them in your draft. If you have to start them like a bye week or an injury, start them. But don't be scared to reach them first, second, or third picks on your draft. They're definitely stud receivers.
They are. They're going to be good this year.
Yeah.
My very first one, funny one, and this would be a great joke. Print out your rankings, highlight all the names that you don't want, and then leave it on the table so someone can come by like, oh wait, Eli wants this guy, Tyler wants this guy.
Yes.
You know, and then they'll draft them. They'll draft Doug Ball. They'll draft RG3, and that means you can get a better quarterback. They'll draft Benjamin Watson, and you can get a better tight end like Kobe Fleener. Just a little joke for him. Prank him a little bit.
Yeah,
Why not? Have fun with them.
I did this once. And on a Yahoo mock draft, I was on the Smack board. I said to someone, I said to them, please don't draft the Philadelphia defense, please. And they're like, okay.
And then they drafted him because he tricked them. He tricked them.
Yeah.
It's all fun. You guys, you're with your buddies.
Yeah, it's not dirty.
Yeah, it's not.
It's
no,
not cheating.
It's not cheating.
Dirty.
It's fun. It's fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
You got a funny one? You got a funny one over there?
Well, I have one last serious one. If you're gonna draft Gronk and there's no other guys left, then draft him in the late first round. Don't go reaching for him in the early first round.
Yeah, if you're drafting him before the 6th, 7th pick, that you're not drafting wisely.
No.
You're out thinking the room, thinking, I'm going to get Gronk and I'm going to steal him. Yeah, you stole him, but then you also lose out. Take him after the 7th pick. All right, you got 2 funny ones or anything?
Draft wisely.
Draft wisely.
I thought that was funny because you're just sitting at home listening to this podcast saying, how do I draft wisely? Well, listen to our podcast, and that's how you know.
That's how you draft wisely. That's not funny. That's dead serious right there. This podcast, all of our podcasts, will help you draft wisely.
This one is...
Here's this funny one.
This is my funny one. If you have the first pick...
Very first pick.
Pick Connor Barth, the kicker from Denver.
Boom. Win your league right there. Win your league with
Not
Connor
Antonio.
Barth. All right, my last one is...
That's not true. Pick
Don't-
Antonio Brown.
Yeah, pick Antonio Brown. My last one is, when you're meeting with all your buddies, bring some good food. Bring your dips. Bring your pizza and wings from GJP.
Yeah.
Most importantly, though, anytime I'm invited to your house, I bring double stuffed Oreo cookies.
Yes.
So I'm
we
bringing
always
double
do
stuffed
that.
Oreo cookies to the draft. It could be a 3-piece soup, 7-course meal. I'm still bringing Oreo cookies for you guys. So draft day, I'm bringing cookies. You guys can bring everything else. Guys, that's going to do it for us. I did get a note from Matthew, our son that you heard from last week. He says you can pick anyone other than Zeke Elliott, Antonio Brown, Gronk, and Tom Brady. I'm not exactly sure what that means, but I think that's going to be his team for this year when we do our fantasy football league for our family. But guys, seriously, enjoy mocking. Mock as much as you can. Your draft's coming up in the next 2 weeks or so.
Yeah.
Be ready
Ours is
for it.
on Saturday.
Yeah, we're doing a real one Saturday. Next week, on Saturday, a couple of days, we're going to be live at GJP in Oswego at the JCPenney Plaza.
Oh, yeah.
7:30 a.m. You want to
Why
come?
not?
You want to come listen and watch?
Backstage pass.
I'm pretty sure Larry's
Free.
not going to care. Get there, get
We're
early.
not going to care.
We're not going to care. Come and listen to the live podcast. We're going to be breaking down our division winners, wild card winners, and we're going to do our Super Bowl picks.
Yeah.
So, Larry, be ready. Have some food out for all those who are coming.
Yeah.
Any final comments and concerns?
That thing, we're going to do the podcast live at, GJP.
And Oswego.
We're gonna start at about 7:30. We're gonna be there at about 7:30.
Yep.
So you can come over and see us, get a free backstage pass.
Yep. We may charge.
It's invisible.
It's invisible. It's one of those, you just show up and you'll be there.
Yeah.
All right, my thing is, guys, seriously, don't outthink the room when you draft.
Yeah,
be ready,
definitely
listen to
not.
these podcasts, and you're going to be winning your league every year.
Yeah.
So, for the Tyler and Blasky Eli Fantasy Football Tips on Yahoo, email us at Tyler and Eli FF Tips at gmail.com. Find our blog at Tyler and Eli Fantasy Football Tips.blogspot.com.
Email us. Who would you pick? And you could pick anyone other than Ezekiel Elliott, Antonio Brown, Gronk, and Tom Brady. You could pick anyone else. Email us that at Tyler and Eli FF Tips at gmail.com, like Tyler mentioned, and just keep listening to the podcast.
Yeah, guys, send us
We're
your
gonna keep making them.
Yeah, send us your emails. Send this out when you listen to it. Send your friends. Tell your friends to listen. They want to win. We'll help you win.
Yeah,
So,
tell your friends. I'll tell their friends.
Don't forget to stop over at GJP and Oswego
on Saturday.
On Saturday, and for your great food for the rest of the week.
Yeah.
That's going to do it for us, guys.
I'm Eli Belowski.
I'm Tyler Belowski.
See ya, guys.